Welcome to the Second Briefing Podcast with Scott and Tom. We're recording from the Gunslinger Clubhouse in beautiful downtown Hillsboro.
Hey everybody, I'm Scott, and I spent 23 years on patrol at a local sheriff's office.
Hey, and I'm Tom. I spent 26 years at that same sheriff's office working with Scott.
In this podcast, we're going to be speaking with former and retired police officers about their life after police work and how they've been dealing with civilian life.
Hey, and maybe we'll have a little fun along the way. Boom, hashtag.
Okay, everybody, let's get to the podcast. Hey, everybody, we have our first sponsor of the Second Briefing Podcast. Tall Fur Coffee was started by a retired police officer. Tall Fur roasts and packages their own coffee and has several blends such as Guatemalan and Sumatran. There is even cold brew if you prefer. It gets Tom and I ready for our day. I was not a coffee snob before, but now I am, and Tall Fur is the best.
Right now, you can go to tallfurcoffee.com and enter the code Second Briefing for 15% off your order. That's the number 2 with an ND briefing for 15% off your order. Thanks for Tall Fur Coffee for all your support.
Order yours today and support first responders.
All right, welcome back to the Second Briefing Podcast. Hey, you got the man, the myth, Tommy Buckmaster. You know, the 3 words, Tommy Buckmaster. You got my partner,
Scott.
The 1 word, Scott. It's Scott.
Just one word.
One word, Scott. Boom! Hashtag Scott.
You guys know what time it is? It's time for the Gerber Top 5.
It's the Gerber Top 5.
Today, we really need that action. Thank you, Tom. With top 5 things Gerber does while on summer vacation. Number 5, goes to Lake Billy Chinook and stays at his buddy's house for a month.
Number 4, spends his Friday night at Bushwhackers.
Number 3, loads his boat up on his Ram truck and drives it around town and has his own little parade.
Number 2, wishes Bushwhackers was on the Willamette so he could drive his boat up to it.
And the number 1 thing that Gerber does while on summer vacation, he flies to Comic-Con in San Diego and dresses like Arnold Schwarzenegger to live off his dream of being a real-life Terminator.
Oh, my Lord.
Does he take his boat down there, too?
Yeah, he actually drives the boat down there along the coastline. He goes all the way down. It's choppy on the Oregon coast, but as he gets farther south, it's much better.
Oh, good for him.
And with that, we welcome our guest, Dustin.
Dustin!
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Being here.
God, I love Dustin. I miss
My
Dustin.
pleasure.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
We've missed him. I've missed this guy. I haven't seen him for years.
Yeah.
About 4.
Spent a lot of time with this
I
guy.
can't believe it's been that long since
Yeah.
you left the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
Chewed a lot of mud with this guy.
Tell us about yourself.
About myself. Well,
Yes.
I'm an aging male in his mid-50s.
Aren't we all?
Aging.
Got a family, 2 boys and a wife,
Yeah.
and a dog named Maple. So,
Outstanding. What kind of dog?
It's a Boston Terrier.
Oh, everybody got those little Boston Terrier bullshits.
Boston Terriers are an amazing dog. They're bred just for being pets.
Are they?
Nothing more. They're not
Like
used
that.
for anything else. So, except
Just
having
to
fun.
eat
Companionship.
shit and sit on your lap.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nothing
That's
wrong
nice.
with that, Tom.
So as far as me,
When did you start at the sheriff's
I started the sheriff's office in 1994. So I'm an old one.
1994.
Yeah.
That was a good year for the red wines, I think. I heard.
You know, I wouldn't know. Didn't
No?
get into wines until later.
Not a sommelier?
Yeah.
See that? I do a big word, sommelier.
Wow.
So yeah, I started actually in the jail in 1994.
The old
That would
jail.
have been the old jail, huh?
Oh yeah, no, it was the old jail. It was there was at the time 41 of us in the jail. That was union members, so corporals and deputies. So it was pretty small. Patrol at the time was, I think, under 100 at the time. you
Pretty much
know?
what we have now, right?
Come full circle.
I think they were like 75 people or something like that, and they were in the basement of the old courthouse.
Okay.
Yeah, so now, well, they were down where grand jury is. That's where the
Oh, I didn't know that.
briefing room and everything like that. And
Things
so,
I learned.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the sheriff's office back then, you could be in the actual head guy, sheriff's office, and you could yell from detectives to them that you wanted to chat with them because it was all one room with offices off of it. It was forensics was down the hall, and they didn't even have a door on there. It was just like you'd walk along, and there's forensics. And
So like where we
and
had
so
the
forth.
DT, like where you would have classroom stuff before we moved to the training center, that downstairs where we would enter and get the video training or lecture training was the part of the sheriff's office at the time. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't.
That's the basement,
That's
isn't
the
it?
basement. So, if you were to go down from Lincoln, and it's like a
That's the
ramp
Sally Port
down
there.
where the Sally Port is here.
That
You
level.
go an entrance the back way that everybody would go into the courthouse. That we would go up.
Okay.
Right down in there, that part below that part of the courthouse.
Okay. That's
We
it.
did have training was underneath the other courthouse.
Gotcha.
And our weight room and everything like that, and our lockers and all that kind of stuff was under the old jail and the old courthouse. So everything was basement. I mean,
Yeah.
everything like that. But no, it was a small little entity, and I originally never wanted to get in law enforcement, but I was tired of being laid off from construction jobs, because that's what I was doing, cabinets and all that kind of stuff. And so I was having a really shitty time at that time. I was like 20, right in there, 21 almost. Yeah, I think I was 21 at the time. And I'd been laid off from job after job just because construction during the wintertime, a lot of times stuff gets shut down. I was working swing shift and at a place that called Bowden's Door Fixtures. And I was driving down to basically northeast Portland and just hating my job. My girlfriend had not moved, but she went on vacation with another guy in Hawaii. So I was having a shitty time. So
Was she still your girlfriend?
no,
she left?
not after that.
Oh, hey, I'm going on a vacation with another dude, but I'll see when I get back.
So
No, you won't.
Yeah.
I was working out to try to just like expend energy, and I'm like, I got to do something else. And so I go, there was this. My buddy's dad was a corrections. I think he was a captain in Multnomah County, and I was good friends with him and his son and stuff like that. And I'm like, what? Maybe I should get into something like law enforcement or government work, so I don't get laid off, can make more money, because making minimum wage in the late 80s and early 90s, you could barely pay for
Yeah, it
rent.
sucked.
I mean, it's not like today, but still.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm lifting in my living room because I couldn't afford to go to a gym or anything like that. And I'm like, God, there was a commercial years ago about this college that would do corrections and stuff like that. And I shit you not, boom, on the TV, the commercial comes on. And I'm like,
It's like fate.
yeah, I was like, this can't be happening. So I write down the phone number and I call about it. And so I go to this little school called Pioneer Pacific College just to learn about corrections. And so I end up going to it. It's a 10-week academy, and amazing training, better than the Corrections Academy at when it was in Monmouth. Great instructor. I aced the course, and they help you do oral boards, or learn how to do oral boards and everything like that. And so I applied for 3 different places. I applied for Benton County, Washington County, Clackamas County, and Gresham. And so not in corrections. I was just, you know how you do it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a shotgun. So Benton County loses their funding. Don't get a chance there. Clackamas County attested, but I never got an interview with them. Gresham was a reserve position, and I went to interview there, and out walks a reserve officer to bring me into my oral board, and it's my old football coach from elementary and middle school. He's a pedophile.
Oh.
They didn't know it, but he's a pedophile.
But you knew it?
Oh, I knew it.
Did you tell him?
No, I was a victim of him.
Oh.
Okay, so
Slap and tickle.
nothing major. Nothing major. It's like, but still grooming me, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so I look at this and I go, I'm not getting this. And lo and behold, I didn't do very well in the oral board.
Yeah.
You know, and because he comes out smiling when he sees me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you creepy fuck. You know.
Oh gosh, that's crazy.
So Washington County calls me up and says, yeah, we want to have a interview with you, because I had tested and all that kind of stuff. And there was, back then it was like 200-300 people would go into testing. It didn't matter if it was corrections, police, or what have you. And so I ended up getting an interview and an oral board right here at the old jail off of First and Lincoln, 141 Lincoln. And I interviewed with Bill Berrigan. Pardon me, I don't mean to use his last name. He doesn't work there anymore.
Bill.
And a few other people. And so he tells me, hey, hang out in town, because I was living in Boring, Oregon. Hang out in town and give me a call. Back then, no cell phones, stuff like that. Use a payphone.
Give me a call. Go find
So
a
I call
payphone.
him up, and he says, hey, you had a great interview, and we wanted to hire you, but it's a position for a woman, so we can't hire you. And I'm just like dead silent. I'm like, excuse me? He goes, yeah, it's a women's position. I'm like, a women's position? I'm like, thinking to myself, well, that's like reverse discrimination right there. I'm like, okay. He goes, but we got you on the list, and so we'll see. And so and this whole process, takes a year and everything, even more than that. And so I ended up a couple months later getting hired and working in the jail. So I spent 4 years working in the jail, where I was 4.5 years. So I was a deputy, a field training officer. I worked on I was riot team, and then I finished up my last 6 months or more working in court security. And the new jail was being built at this time, and so we were doing training on the riot team to do cell extractions and testing out everything and checking out the whole building. And so we go up on the roof and are checking out all the security issues and stuff like that. And there was a major security flaw on the sheriff's office, on the jail.
At the new one?
At the new one.
Okay.
I won't say what it is, but it's a huge security issue. And so we brought it to the attention of administration. They're like, too bad. Place is built.
We're going to keep it.
We're going to keep it the way it is. We don't think it's an issue.
Very good.
And to their credit, nothing has happened. I don't know if they fixed it or what have you or something.
Oh, jeez.
But it was like, okay. So at that point, I was there, and one of my coworkers, Kelly, says, did you apply for the road? And I'm like, I said, I don't even know they're hiring. And I said, when's it close? And he's like, today at 5. I went over there, filled out my application. Next thing you know, I tested and went to patrol. And this was in 1998.
July 1st.
July 1st,
1998.
1998.
You got hired with me.
Yeah. So that's where this story begins.
Yes.
Because
Oh, no. That's a great
We were together forever.
we connected right off the bat.
Jesus.
In training to the point that we were sometimes commuting together, because we both lived in Portland at the time, and would go to some of the trainings and stuff like that. And so from there, it was history of a friendship.
Deep friendship.
Yeah. And so
Academy together.
Academy, and we went in 1999.
Yeah.
Okay.
We finished
That
FTEP.
was still in Monmouth, right?
Yeah, we were by ourselves. We were by ourselves for like
Yeah, a couple
3 or
months.
4 months.
Yeah, we were. There was so many academies
Oh,
going
right.
on at that time, and so they broke up our group. We had 15 people higher in our group, and so they broke up our group and sent some in the early fall, and then sent us in, was it January?
We went November.
No, we were in '99 in January. We finished our graduation.
223, class 223 was
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
And so, and I know this.
Yeah, it was Jan. Yeah.
Yeah, I know this because I met my wife when I was in the academy.
Yeah.
Not at the academy.
That's right. In
But,
the academy. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah. So we went to the academy in '99. We'd already been on our own. Everybody hated us at the academy.
Yeah, I told that story because
Ugh.
Sergeant kept coming down. Shut the
I
fuck
think
up.
that's
Yeah.
what happened when my group got hired. I think that whole thing it kept going, and
Yes.
Tim A would tell us, "Don't
Yes.
just do what they tell you."
We get parking tickets and
Yeah,
pay 'em. That's
because
the
a lot of
services.
companies-
And
I never
But-
paid mine.
Oh, never.
Never.
We still did the same thing that you.
You can't use your food cards for that.
just
Yes,
like,
we
"What?
can.
Why
It's
are
not
you
your
teaching
money.
that?"
Well, our lieutenant
Yeah.
ended up years later being arrested.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
the guy
yeah.
that was holding us accountable.
Our
Our,
lieu- you know, the
lieutenant.
class-
Was it Ken or the other one?
No,
No.
it was the DT dude.
Yeah, he was a
Oh,
The tough D2
he was a
guy.
Hillsborough Reserve.
Oh, I know.
He was
who
a
that is. I
goofball.
don't know if he was
Yeah,
ours.
and then he went to St. Helens, and he ended up, I think, getting charged with neglect of duty and
I
stuff like
remember
that, all
story.
that kind
I
of
remember
stuff.
that
But
guy,
So we went through the academy, and everybody hated us because we'd been on our own, and they were telling us, "You guys are cowboys. You're, whatever." It's like
We're getting taught by the people who worked at Seaside.
yeah,
And we work a big department, and the Seaside lady's trying to teach us how to do a Dewey and how to do domestics
Yeah.
that they get once a year, and we're doing them every day, sometimes 2 a day.
she was.
That's
trying,
not how you do it.
No, and she was teaching Measure 11 crimes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and we're like, her first job was Port of Portland, and then she went to Seaside.
Yeah.
And you're like, someone said something to me about it. I said, I investigated a Measure 11 crimes in FTAP. I said that was,
I know.
it was like, what are you talking about? You're here. How many have you done?
Yeah.
So we had quite the go. We had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, the cat was great.
I mean, it was a good time.
Lenore's Ghost.
Lenore's Ghost.
We have a good story there that I tried to get the waitress on the bar, just us. I think there's like 5 of us. We always had
Yeah.
the same group, right?
Always had the same group. I have a picture
Yeah.
of all of us.
Tried to get her on the bar.
in Lenore's Ghost.
Oh, I want that picture.
I gotta remember. I've got it. I'll get it to you.
Knowing me, hey,
But-
get up on the bar. It's just us. I'll give you like $20. Take that top
But
off.
it's that crew.
Take that top off.
Take that top
Take
off.
that top off. It's just us. Come
Uh-huh.
on.
Yeah. Where
Nope.
did
That's 4 words.
I can't remember. Someone was running a 223 Facebook page.
Really?
Yeah, and that's where I got some of these pictures.
Still?
I don't know where it's at, but it
Oh.
was class of 223, and
That's
so that's
interesting.
where I got some of them. But so we had a blast doing that.
We'd get
Tom's
back-
obviously trying to get women naked.
Yeah.
Didn't
Never
work.
changed.
Wasn't successful.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was charming though.
Cutting hair in the bathroom, in the
Very
showers.
charming.
Yes,
2 a.m. Rockwell, cutting hair.
Mike Rockwell,
Mike.
the Duck Killer.
The angry Mike, that was his
He was
name.
very angry. Yeah.
He was Angry Mike, we called
Angry
him.
Mike is what we call him. So he'll love hearing about duck killing.
Yeah,
so,
he ran over ducks. They were already dead, though.
There,
Oh, my
Somebody called it in.
anytime they're this little story is, I don't know if it was on TVI where somewhere, I can't remember,
Yeah.
170th and Baney or something like
so in
that.
Aloha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in Aloha.
And what happens in Aloha?
Dreams go to die in Aloha.
That's
Gonna
right.
die. Yeah.
So some lady sees Mike drive across these dead ducks and calls in a complaint to dispatch that he
just-
ran over these ducks.
He just
Killed
killed them.
Duck killer.
He just killed these ducks. He just kept going.
So still to this day, I bring it up to him on social media. Anytime
Angry
there
Mike.
is something that has to do with ducks, I tag him. And
Oh no.
he gets so angry,
That's a
Mike,
good idea. I should do that too.
because it doesn't matter. If it comes up, I will tag him, and he
Angry
knows
Mike.
it. And I wouldn't be surprised if I'm blocked by now. But
Oh yeah.
he always has to get on there and say, they were already dead.
Yeah.
But, citizens, it doesn't matter.
No, because
Yeah.
they see
No,
what they see.
they see what they see, and it doesn't matter what it is. He's a cop. He's a bad guy.
Yeah, of course.
Where Mike is one of the good ones.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, he
You
was
know.
he was super good.
Yeah.
Super nice.
Super nice guy, good at his job, no BS.
Right.
Yeah.
Knew how to have fun, but knew how to be serious. Sadly, he had to go away to OSP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. He had a great career at OSP. I don't know I think he's still there.
I think so too.
I
Yeah.
heard.
As he was doing the lottery, I heard.
Yeah, I ran into him. I went down to the academy for something, and his office was at the academy.
Oh, is
so
it?
I chatted with him, but that was
Yeah.
years ago.
Should
But
send him a message.
yeah. So after the academy and stuff like that, I had, kind of a interesting career. I mean, I promoted to corporal, and actually, when I was a deputy, I got asked to run for union president because the current union president was doing things that people didn't like, and so I had 2 different people come to me, and I won't mention their names, but they well respected, had very great careers. And they're like, we want you to run, because I was very outspoken. I was a rep and so on and so forth. And so I said, I never thought of it. Maybe I should. And so I did,
Yeah.
and I won.
Yeah.
And so
How long did you do that for?
3.5 years, right about in there. And so during that time, I promoted to corporal. I built a really good relationship with administration as far as personally. And I shared a lot of the same beliefs as administration, but I was still representing the union the way they were supposed to be represented. And at the time, the sheriff's office was doing a pretty good job at building relationships between the two. It wasn't contentious. And so it was really easy to do the job. There was only a handful of times that they'd done stuff like you're barking up the wrong
It was actually a
tree.
good time to work there, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was a good time at that time.
Yeah.
And so at the time, I got called in by the commander and a lieutenant, and they're like, "Hey, there's a temp sergeant job. We want you to put in for it." And I'm like, "Well, thanks. I mean, I've never considered it before." They're like, "Well, we need you to put in for it." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "But I have to test, right?" Yeah. There's
Formality.
Formality. You can do that. And so
Call that a shoulder tap.
it was a shoulder tap, and people can say what they will, but I would prove myself all the way up the chain that I was doing my job well as an investigator as well as union president. And so I ended up testing. I forced them to let me test because they just wanted me to go and interview. I'm like, no. I want to get on the list. I want to do it right. I want to do all this kind of stuff. And so I tested. I went in. It was a weird and awkward interview because I'd spent a couple times a week talking to these guys, the sheriff and the undersheriff and all those guys in meetings. And so to all of a sudden have a formal interview with these guys that I'm on a first name basis with on most days, it was just awkward, but then got the position, and I held the position of sergeant for, was it 16 years, I think it was.
Yeah.
Best position in the sheriff's office, as far as I'm concerned. You get to do so many things.
What was it like supervising me?
You know what? You were a dream.
Oh, wow.
You hear that? That was a dream.
I seriously had no issues with you ever.
See?
Never wrote you up.
Yeah.
Never gave you a negative eval. Never wrote you a PO.
I knew what I was doing.
We met on a regular basis,
We always did. We always met for coffee.
door to door, all that kind of stuff.
I always did my job.
There's one time I had to be a supervisor, okay? And this lady filed a complaint. And
Is this a story about me?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't want to give any details anyways, because it's not a big deal. Filed a complaint against you, and I can't remember what it was. It was demeanor or something like that. And so the way I supervised was I didn't believe in asking a bunch of questions that I already knew the answer to, because supervisors do that to jack someone up,
Right.
And I knew the answers. I mean, to meet with Tom was just a daily event to chat, And so I remember we were at a low fire, door to door. And the lady had called in. And so I said, hey, let's meet up and chat. And so I was just going to do, because whenever I talk to someone, as far as citizen, I'd always try to diffuse them. And I was just like, you know what? I can see how you would feel that way. And I'm really sorry you had this experience with the sheriff's office. And I'm sorry, do you want me just to talk to the deputy and make them understand that they could have maybe done something different? And that was my spiel all the time. And 90% of the time, the citizens go, oh, yeah. Yeah, that's all I want. Just talk to them, make sure. And it didn't matter what it was. And there was other supervisors that they'd have to write something up. They would do all this kind of crap that you'd be like, why are you doing this? Your job is not to.
After a while, they stopped allowing sergeants to do that. It was immediately, if the complaint word came out, they had to write something up.
But
At
you
some
could get
point.
people to say that it wasn't a complaint.
Sure.
And I had my ways of doing that. If you were to look at how many investigations I did as a supervisor, you could count them on two hands over 16 years. And a few of those were multiple on one person because I was told I had to do them. So, and it wasn't, and they weren't like SRMs. There were some SRMs, but most of them were just nothing.
Right.
And so I always wanted to make them go away. So, Tom can be boisterous.
I've heard that about him. Yeah.
And so this was just a boisterous Tom situation. And so when I go to talk to him, he's like, so what did she have to say? And I'm
What
like,
the fuck she say, bitch?
yeah. And he started wanting to tell me. I said, Tom, I don't need you to tell me anything. I just think, Tom, maybe next time reflect a little bit and maybe use a different tone. But I said, Tom, I don't want you to say anything. I'm trying to lead him like this. Don't say anything. Because the minute he starts giving his perspective, then I have to start writing. And it was one of those things that I'm like, he wasn't going to get in trouble, but nobody needed an SRM. Nobody needed anything documented. And it took me like 3 minutes. I'm like, Tom, don't say anything, because this is me telling you as a supervisor, this is what you're going to do next time. And then he got it, because I didn't care. I could give a rat's ass.
Well, the nice thing about Dustin, when he was a supervisor, I always liked working shift with him because, being reasonable and not worrying about trying to get people in trouble. Because there was some of those types
Oh,
of
yeah.
sergeants.
Yeah.
Do you remember the time when I was a corporal and there was another agency and there was another sergeant from that agency and they were married to a dispatcher? Mm-hmm. You remember that whole thing? We sat car to car. There was an ex that lived out of that whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to have him sit next to me car to car to hear this, because this
witness
sergeant was going to, as a witness, because this sergeant was going to file a complaint against me because I got told by a lieutenant to investigate not the actual police officer, but the police officer's ex-spouse.
Yeah.
Because, but then it turns out that the police officer, and there wasn't anything there wasn't any criminal action against the police officer. It was just like him and the current spouse were making the situation worse.
Yes.
And I was trying to explain to him, and he was telling me I wasn't doing my job. And anyway,
Yeah.
it was great to have him as a witness.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and so that was really handy.
He was just a good sergeant to have around to call.
Exactly.
I appreciate that.
And it helped. And when he heard it, he was like, I think the look on his face when he was listening to this sergeant from the other agency was like, oh my.
Yeah.
I was pretty lucky to have good sergeants until two of them retired.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that so many people in law enforcement, when they start moving up the chain, they don't see that your job is to make people's careers successful. They look at it as, I'm a documenter, I gotta protect the agency. It's like, no, you are trying to make someone successful, and that means guiding them in the right direction so they don't get jammed up.
Yeah.
And there's too many. I remember there was this deputy that wanted to be a fireman. Okay, we'll just say that.
He was on our show.
There you go.
Yeah, we had him on the show.
Wanted to be a fireman.
Yeah.
And everybody knew it. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a fireman. Who doesn't want to go sleep during your shift?
Yeah.
And,
work
now and then, and polish your car and
do some
all that kind of
barbecuing.
stuff and have
Make
people
chili
wave
cook-offs.
at you with 5 fingers,
Bring you cookies.
Who doesn't want to?
Yeah.
And so everybody was giving him a hard time about it. And there's this one supervisor that just hated him. Okay? Just absolutely hated him. And so, and it was because of him wanting to be a firefighter. He would say no, he showed up late here, he did this here and stuff like that. So I remember this particular deputy was in a hurry because he needed to get home to take care of family business. I think it was a child. And his wife wasn't in a good place at the time. And so he's like, I need to get home. So he parks the car, bumps another car, leaves a scratch on it, another patrol car. And you're sitting here going, every patrol car has a scratch on it, a ding on it, something. It's not a big deal.
Right.
So he's there and he's writing stuff in his notebook and he sees a corporal and goes, hey, the corporal's like, what's going on? I bumped this car. I need to get home. So he's writing the stuff. The corporal's, hey, I got it. I'll take care of it. We had the damaged vehicle log and all that kind of stuff. And so this other sergeant would watch when this deputy would come and go. Always. If he was like, if you're leaving at this time or whatever.
Yeah, we know he is.
Okay.
No.
And it's like, there's no way he
We
could
had
have
to arrange
been
with him a
here.
couple weeks ago, or last time.
Okay.
Right.
So this corporal forgets to do the damage log. And it's not because of anything, probably got a call, probably walked out the door and so on and so forth. So apparently someone reports in the damage log that there was a vehicle that was damaged, and the sergeant finds out that this deputy was driving it and starts to go, wait a minute, I talked to so-and-so, and he never put anything in the damage log, and he never told a supervisor about this and never did any of this. And so he does his investigation and finds out everything that I told you. Spoke to a corporal, did all these different things and all that kind of. He knows all this stuff, that it wasn't that he just didn't do
He
it.
just hide it and just left.
So he brings his deputy in. I'm sitting in my cubicle. He's sitting in his cubicle. He's investigating. He already knows all the answers. And he goes through all this stuff. And asking him all these questions, and you can tell the deputy's getting defensive. Like, oh crap! Luckily, this deputy does not lie, and so he is, just holding to his ground. This is what I did, and everything. So he leaves, and the sergeant comes over to my cubicle and goes, "So what do you think?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you think? What do you think about that?" And I said, "Why are you doing an investigation?" And he's like, "What do you mean? Why am I doing an investigation? He hit a car." I said, "You already know all the answers. Why are you asking him all these questions?" "What do you mean?" I said, "You're just putting him in a position to screw himself." I said, "Someone's going to get nervous and misspeak or not give all the information. Next thing you know, they're untruthfulness. Well, someone shouldn't be untruthful." I said, "That's not the point. What you do in this situation is you bring him in and you say, 'Hey, I see that you damaged a car while parking it, and I heard from Corporal so-and-so that you told him to mark it in the logbook and so on and so forth. In the future, don't do that. Corporal's not a supervisor. Tell a supervisor, write it in the logbook, do what you have to do, and get it over with. I know you're in a hurry to go home, whatever." And he's looking at me like, "But he did this wrong." I said, "It doesn't matter if he did it wrong. It wasn't intentional or anything like that. Why are we jamming people up? We're supposed to be making them successful in their career. We're not supposed to be screwing their career." And that sergeant was very good at trying to screw people's careers.
That was his goal.
Yeah, his whole goal was to see how many write-ups he could get.
Somebody that was of a different rank, that was a responsible person, you think, and at least,
It was, and the thing is
because the guy forgot, whatever.
Yeah, and it's on the corporal, because the corporal approached him in the parking lot and said, "Hey, I can help you out," and he didn't follow through with it.
Yeah.
And that's my thing, is like, so you're just going to go after the person you don't like?
Yeah, basically.
And there's a lot of supervisors in law enforcement that are like, "Aha,
I gotcha.
So
They're looking to catch you.
Up higher than that sometimes too.
Oh,
As we all know.
Oh, yeah.
Still.
oh yeah, now
That's what's a shame with the department.
Yeah, I know. That happens
Gotcha.
a lot of places though. It's not just the one we work for.
It's
No.
A lot of places. I mean, I have friends in different states that
It's-
same thing.
there's nothing different in law enforcement. It's just the size of the agency.
Correct.
It's like there's law enforcement as law enforcement. You can die in any agency in the world. You can thrive in any agency in the world, and you can be corrupt. You can do that, all that kind of stuff. And so, when I started in law enforcement, I had this corporal, Al, who worked in the jail, and he was a transport and corporal, and he had all these stories all the time, all these stories, crazy. Like, you're like, where do you get this stuff? And he's like, "I got a little black book." And, people think whatever, he didn't have a little black book. That dude had a black book.
Yeah.
Because he had a storied career as far as like nobody fucking with him. He could do what he wanted when he wanted. Now, he was good at what he did. But I thought, I'm never going to have those stories. And it's like today, I've got a bigger black book than he has of stories, and it's just like, it's obviously up here, but it's like, he was just scratching the surface, and he was a cop in the 70s and 80s, imagine, with no regulations and stuff like that. So it's just those things that you go, everything in law enforcement happens at every agency. It's just how big or how small. That's all it is. But no, my career was really good. I got an opportunity to work in forensics as a supervisor. I got an opportunity to be the mental health sergeant at the end of my career, favorite position I ever had. I got to be in incident management, riot teams, all this kind of stuff that I got to do, that I met so many people and had so much fun doing it. And I don't regret any of it. Some of it was more traumatic than others.
Sure.
I think the people that people forget in this agency is the forensics people. People look at them as, they're back in a corner, we call them out and stuff like that. I've never seen so much carnage and so much death.
Because they go into all of it.
Yeah.
They see all of it.
Until I went to forensics.
Yeah.
I had some major trauma from some of the homicides that we worked. And it took me years to figure out that I did. I mean, I remember one murder-suicide that happened out at Jackson Bottom Slough, and it was a dad. I don't know how
the dad and kids.
Dad and kids, and I don't want to get too graphic in it, but
Yeah, I remember that.
there was a time in my career I couldn't even say Jackson Bottom Slough. Couldn't even say the words.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I didn't realize it because I was driving home one day and I felt like I was having a heart attack. So I went straight to the hospital and said, hey, and they hooked me up. And they're like, no, it sounds like it's anxiety and stuff like that. And so, law enforcement is really bad at taking care of their own when it comes to this kind of stuff, at least when I was a cop. I mean, I retired
Still that way.
in 2021.
It's a little better, but still that way.
Yeah. Well, your old office is now a wellness room.
Oh, there you go.
HRT office.
There you go.
There's small steps.
Small steps.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to get the agency to start helping people, because we can go through a list of people that left the sheriff's office in different ways that you can associate it with trauma that
I left
occurred.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you can look at, well, this guy who was a bad cop did this. And you're like, yeah, look at all these events that happened up to that point. No, it's not an excuse. Fuck yeah, it's an excuse.
Yeah.
It is
I
tied
didn't want to
to
leave that way.
No.
No.
You know,
There's no way in hell I want to
Nobody
leave
does.
in my career like that.
There's no way
know?
that anybody wants to leave due to trauma. And I, until I figured out that, and this was in 2012, that I knew that something was seriously wrong with me. And I started doing research, and I figured out that I had cumulative PTSD, which is repeated events over a period of time that build up to one. Not
Right.
like the military where they
Yeah,
see
yeah.
one big one.
Yeah, it's like a death by 1,000 cuts for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'd said something to my wife, and she thought we were not doing well. And she thought at the time there was something up with me, but she just thought it was just, you're a cop and you're an ass, and I'm just saying that she didn't really say that, but I think that's really what a lot of wives think. You're just,
Right.
you're not there. You want to be at work. You don't want to be here, that kind of thing. And it's just me summing up thinking that.
Sure.
And so I told her, I said, this is what I think I have. And she looks it up and she goes, you meet every single one of these things. So I
Yeah.
started going to see a doctor and getting some counseling. And then I went to one of my lieutenants and said, I don't think I can be here right now. And I said, but I don't think the commander's going to listen to me. The commander didn't get along with me. He had his own agenda and his belief systems that backfired on him, but I won't get into that. And so we go there and I tell him, hey, I'm dealing with some PTSD issues with some homicides that I was involved with. And he goes, yeah, we've all seen it. I've seen homicide, blah, 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 and just brushed me off. And I was like, I'm coming to you to tell you that I may need to leave my job. And you're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was livid because I was like, how hard that is to go to someone,
Especially- yeah.
a commander or anybody,
Yeah.
and say, I need help,
Yeah.
And so luckily the lieutenant that I brought in there, we had not seen eye to eye years ago, and we'd built a friendship over time. And they went, you know what, I'm going to support you on this and I'll make this happen. So I left the sheriff's office for a month just to get my head straight. And I was on leave per my request. It wasn't long enough, but it was a good start.
Yeah.
And I made a plan that because I had held everything in like all of us do,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
didn't talk about things. And I couldn't talk about the Jackson Bottom Slough homicide for years without, crying, And we could be
Right.
sit here talking in public and people would be like, what's going on? And I'm like, because they'd ask me about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came back and I decided anybody that asks me how I'm doing, I'm going to tell them. I don't care what it was.
Right.
And the strangest thing in the world is when you're walking down the hallway and says, how's it going? Pretty shitty. And people just like, because they're just, they're in stride.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
Here's what he,
It's not
I'm
the
great. It
normal
was good.
response.
no.
There's
No.
a glitch in the matrix. Yeah.
And I go, and they're like, whoa, what's going on? I said, well, you know what? I'm dealing with this, this, and this, and, and so on and so forth. And pretty soon people took notice. And there's one sergeant that was a peer of mine that had seen a lot of trauma and dealt with a lot of stuff, and who was just this, I'm a cop. I don't talk about things. We don't do this. We go and fight and all that kind of stuff. And he pops into my cubicle one day and goes, hey, what happened? What what all of a sudden changed you? And I told him, and he's like, well, who'd you talk to? And it was like, this to me was like a huge moment, because I thought this person was going to die on the job from a heart attack or what have you. And they just kind of bared their soul and said, I need help, and I want to figure it out. Can you help me at least get started? Because everybody's scared of the EAP
Stigma, yeah.
and thinking that, oh, this is going to ruin my career. And it's like, no, I went through it. I filled out everything. It's all, safe, and so on and so forth. And he started getting better. I don't know how much he did and stuff like that. But even though he could,
he's happier now.
Yeah, there you go.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, you do.
Because I saw him. I tried to get him come on the show too.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
He said I just sent him the link, so
yeah.
He said maybe.
All right, that would be good. That'd be good. But
That
it's
would be interesting.
just to get him to even think about it, because we'd worked together for years. And I love that man, and it was one of those things that if there was anybody you wanted on your side,
Yeah,
there's,
he's the other one.
Yeah.
I have two favorite supervisors.
Yeah,
And they're-
I hope
He's
I'm
the
one
guy-
of them.
he's the guy, if he believed in you, he would back you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%, right?
And he would call bullshit on administration.
It didn't matter who it was.
And it didn't matter about his career.
Nope.
It'd be like, I don't care.
No, yeah, he was good at that. Yeah.
And so there's a handful of people in this career that you go, yeah, I'd do anything for them.
Yep.
And you guys are some of mine. I've got a list.
Yeah.
And there's people that would call me and want me to do this. I wouldn't come do it.
Yeah.
And so I know I'm jumping all over the place.
No, that's
but
good.
it's- But it's one of those things.
You're
that,
saying good shit, dude.
Yeah.
You are. You are.
Appreciate it.
Well, and, we were talking offline about a story that some people just don't believe us. Like we had our other guest, Jerry, on, talked about it. That story about the guy that called in. We thought it was an assault with a weapon now. And it was myself, Sean, Jerry.
Yeah.
Who else was there?
Corey may have been there.
Corey
I'm not sure,
was also
because it
there,
would be
yes.
that shift was a group
Yeah,
of
'cause
us.
you were the
it was
sarge on the
swing
on the
shift.
Yeah, it was swing shift.
It wasn't me because I don't like swing shifts.
Yeah, because you were the sarge on swing shift for a little while.
Yep.
And then we went, and it turns out it was the guy that was trying to harm himself, but it didn't succeed. So you tell your perception of it.
Yeah, it was I don't remember. I think it was a family member that called in
Yeah, that's right. I had forgotten about that.
about him to do a welfare check. And I don't, because they hadn't heard from him or something to that. I can't remember for sure, but it's in a neighborhood. The neighborhood used to have a name, but it's the neighborhood that
Not Cedar Hills, but kind of.
it's kind of Cedar Hills. It's the old Beaverton Airport back in the 50s. This was the neighborhood that was built to house all the people that
Right.
lived there. And so
A little smaller houses. Yeah.
yeah, and so we don't really have any problems in that neighborhood, really.
Yeah.
So we get some domestics, you get some car clouts, and stuff like that. But it was something we always patrolled, and it's this little bastion of county in the middle of the city that the city will never take because of the infrastructure. But that's the whole political thing. So we want to check on him because, and I can't remember exactly why, but I thought they thought he might be suicidal, and so we have to force entry because we can't find a way to get into the house, and so we have to come in through the front door. So we get in through the front door and we see this man. I mean, would you say 450?
Oh, he was a very large man.
450 pounds. Not clothed, but I think he was covered up partially.
Yeah.
And he's sitting here kind of with his neck off to the left like this. And you can see some blood. And we're not really concerned at this point about our safety from him because you can tell it's like he's not moving, and so on. And so on the ground next to him is a circular saw with a extension cord.
But where was the phone? Remember
Wasn't
where the phone
it
was?
in the fold of his neck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was still talking to dispatch.
He's calling a dispatch.
He wasn't
what it
dead.
was.
No, he wasn't dead.
No, he wasn't dead. Okay, but we expected him to be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the whole details of it, but we're sitting there.
So
and
he was talking to dispatch.
I think he was on the phone with dispatch.
He was, but I think somebody
Somebody first
somebody
called,
else
and then he called after he did
and
it.
he called
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
And
There's
so,
two calls, I think.
yeah, and so
He called ouch.
he starts talking to us, and he says, "I can't move my neck." We're like, "Why can't you move your neck?" He's like, "Well, I cut it, And so we're like, asking him what's going on, and we see the circular saw there, and he had said that he took the circular saw to cut his jugular, and it didn't work. And we're like, "What?" And you're like, "No, you can see right here, and there's blood on the saw, and it's down there." And you look and go, "No, this dude, no, he really did it." And so he starts telling us, because we look over at the TV, and there's all these pill bottles up on top of this TV. And what he had done was he was going to take all these pills,
like Advil and Tylenol, that kind of thing.
Just all kinds of crap. And he figured that he would slowly go to sleep. He had this circular saw that he ran an extension cord from the garage.
Yeah.
I don't know why. He ran the extension cord through the garage, through a window, in there. And so I don't remember if he took the pills and then he decided to do that, or he did that and he took the pills. I can't remember.
Seemed like he wanted to numb himself,
Yes.
I thought, or something to that effect.
So he wouldn't feel the saw.
Well, the problem is that he numbed himself too much, slowed down his heart rate, and that circular saw, since he was so big, didn't get into
Past the fat.
Yeah,
The fact that he was so big, it saved his life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the opposite of Maha, right? At this
Yeah,
point, yeah.
exactly. And it's like, there's so many people I tell a story to, and they're like, "This didn't happen. This didn't happen." It's like, no, it happened. And it's one of those shockers that you look at and go, how do you get the nerve to take
Yeah.
a...
Well, he did it like 3 times, though,
Yeah.
because from what I remember, we go in, because Dustin was standing there telling us to go in, and we
Yeah.
had the shield on, so we didn't know
Yeah.
what was inside initially.
Yeah.
And I had one of those old school beanbag guns. They had the ones that would fly all over.
Yeah.
And I've got it pointed at him, and we're yelling at him to get his hands up initially
Yeah.
as we go in. And he does, but the phone stays there, and I'm looking at him. Because
doesn't move.
It's humorous now. It has that horrible black humor that we have.
Oh, it's horrible.
But it's
Yeah.
but it's just like
It's
what?
horrible.
We said drop the phone, bro.
Yeah, and so he has his
Drop
hands
it.
up.
Stop. Hang up on dispatch, man.
Yeah, and so
You know how you just see it.
I
Hang
can
it
hear-
up.
I can still to this day hear his voice. Scott, you can put the rifle down. You can put the, but I'm like, Sarge, why is he talking? Sarge, why is he talking? I can still remember that. That's of that thing. That particular incident.
Yeah. Why is
he
I still
talking?
remember that to this day.
Yeah.
Silly.
And it's it's just weird. So like to touch on these things that we're talking about, that's one thing I always remember that
Yeah.
always used to cause me a little
Oh, yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm just like
Yeah.
because it's a sick humor thing for us because it's just like so weird.
Yes.
It's like how do you even because he did it like once on this side and then went to this side
Yeah.
and then went back to this side. It seemed like it just and I never followed
Never
up with
followed
this
up.
guy. Never heard if anything
Unless you
ever
never go
happened.
back and see how they did.
When I
Well,
drove
a lot
by
of
his
times.
place a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I always see that too.
Yeah, because I've always worked that
Like
area
when you'd
before.
work, I go, oh, I've been in that house. Somebody died there.
Yeah.
Somebody shot himself
yeah.
at this hotel over
Your
here.
Rolodex of deaths.
Oh, yeah.
So, any so kind of moving to maybe a little more lighter. Do you have any funny stories of like maybe this guy or
shit.
or anything that was funny when you were working patrol that was
That's the hard
that you
part.
remember? Yeah,
You
just
know?
something humorous. Or
There's
that
never
stood
anything
out
funny about this guy.
a citizen or something.
Stuff that pops up
Well, I mean,
over.
there's always something funny about Thomas here.
Yeah, I don't have, it's when you put people on spots, sometimes it's hard to come up with this
course,
because
yeah.
I'd be at parties,
I mean,
through
you can
my
say something funny
career.
about Gerba if you want.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Some of the funny things that, like, I remember is Dan Charter. Sorry, didn't mean to say that again. But,
No, that's right.
Oh, shit. We can get him on here.
yeah, he's a recruit, and he's going to Sean Blaylock's, again, why am I doing this?
Sean B.
Sean B. Going to his shooting.
I know this story.
Okay,
Because I was going
and-
with Chad.
Yeah.
Hell. See, I did it.
And he's going
You just
down.
said Chad.
He's going down baseline, and his
With Sean.
coach Sean, different Sean.
Yep.
They're driving along. Yeah, it's raining sheets
Oh yeah, I
of
remember
rain,
it. Yeah.
and they had changed some traffic directional, like
Yeah, there was an island.
an island. Yeah.
Yeah, around like what Cornelius Pass and Baseline, I think.
Something
'Cause
like
we had
that.
just left briefing. We
Uh-huh.
had just gone to the 9 p.m. briefing,
Yeah.
and he was with Sean,
Yeah.
and I was with Chad, and we went different directions for some reason.
Yeah.
So I didn't follow him, but yeah, continue.
And they're driving along probably 80 miles an hour.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
And
walking
he
fast.
doesn't know that curb is there, and basically takes off the whole undercarriage of the patrol car. And it has to call, and that's the worst. You're going to something that is big as an officer involved shooting, and you can't make it there. We always tell recruits all the
Yeah.
time, is like, your job is to get there.
That's your first job. is just
That's
to
your
get there.
first job.
Get there
is to
safe.
Get there. If you don't get there,
Yeah.
people die.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Well, I wonder if that's why Chad had me go the other way. Maybe he knew something I didn't. Because I always wondered why we didn't go that way later on. So
No.
but that was funny.
I have a couple funny. Remind me of Marva Scavdall if I forget that one.
Okay.
But I had a reserve. You would know him real well. I think you guys might have been reserves together. He got hired and then got fired and all this kind of stuff. And he would ride with me all the time. And so we're working graveyard. This is early on in my career.
Oh.
And we're up near Cedar Hills Hospital. I can't think of the name of
Roxbury.
Roxbury. And so that was back when washing checks was a big deal, and so there was
This tall guy?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, last name starts with an H, I believe.
Yeah.
And so I just said last name starts with an H. That's all.
I didn't say.
And this isn't a bad story, just
No,
so
no,
you know.
no.
It's a funny story. So I had dealt with this guy that was stealing checks in Aloha, because back then, sometimes you'd work in Aloha, sometimes you work over here,
Yeah.
just wherever. And so I'd caught him literally red-handed with his hand in a mailbox in Aloha. And so I arrest him and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And so, I see him, months later off of Roxbury.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we need to stop that guy. All right. And so we pull him over and he's on a bike. And so we're talking to him and I'm like, this guy is someone we need to be really careful with. He's got a backpack and all this kind of stuff. And so asking him about the bike he's got. And I'm like, I know bikes. And I'm like, that's like a $400 bike back then, you know? And you're like, there's no way this is his bike.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, so been getting any mailboxes, anything like that? No, I'm good, all this kind of stuff. And so we're going to go because I believe he has a warrant. And so I look at, my reserve and I'm like, international sign for locking him up.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay. And so he starts talking to him. And I'm like, hey, we're going to need you to remove your backpack, and so my reserve takes the bike from him, and so he doesn't use that as a weapon, and he can't run away, so he puts it next to the car. So I say, come on, let me have your backpack. And so he starts to take off his backpack and then swings it at me. And so I've got, the big Kel lights, and I'm like, as soon as he starts to swing it at me, I'm like, we're going to town with this. But he takes off running down Roxbury. And we're at the top. And you know how that is.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so
Big slope. Yeah.
just running like crazy, at that time, meth heads, they got all the energy in the world.
Yeah. Of
So,
course, yeah.
and he's running. So we get down to, like you guys would know the name of the street, but it's just before Walker. And there's this like dirt area
Lynn
out.
Ridge.
Yeah, Lynn Ridge.
Ridge.
And so right there's this area. So I catch up to him and tackle him.
Yeah.
And it was because he had stopped again and turned to swing at me. And so I lift my light and it just enough time to where he didn't have the energy because I'm healthy and he's not. I tackle him and we start getting in a fight. Well, my reserve being smart's like, well, I'm not running after him too. I'm going to get a car. It's like,
There you go.
I thought you were going to say you rode the bike down there.
exactly.
That's what I was thinking.
That would have been awesome.
So obviously the world's coming
Yeah.
because pursuit, all this kind of stuff, and everybody, you can hear sirens come from everywhere. And this car is coming down, my patrol car is coming down the road, and it's just loud as hell. It's not a siren, it's just loud, like something's, I don't know what's going on. Parks it, comes and jumps on the guy, and we're twisting him up. People are arriving. He goes, reserves goes, I think I ran over his bike.
That sounds about right.
And so what he had done was when he took the bike from the guy, he put it at the grill. I wasn't paying
Oh, yeah.
attention because I'm over here.
Yeah.
And so when he ran back to the car, he just took driving and drove straight over it. Well, it was caught under the rear of the
that's
car,
amazing.
and he drugged the bicycle all the way from the top of Roxbury all the way down to Lynn Ridge. And
geez,
so
that's a nice little chunk of.
Yeah.
neighbors are
It's like a
calling
mile.
in
It's a
saying
half
there's a
mile.
police car driving down the road with fire coming out the back.
That sounds about right.
Spark.
Oh, that's a
It's
great
just
story.
like-
Yeah.
Because I could see him doing
yes.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
There's kind of a funny story with him and you
Uh-huh.
that involved me one time. So
Oh, this-
I got hired before him, and I hadn't seen him for a little while because he was still a
Yeah.
reserve. And I don't think I ever rode with you as a reserve, but he had told me he would ride with you a lot.
Yeah.
And it was graveyard. Do you remember this?
I don't.
Well, maybe.
I probably
so
will.
I was living at the time. I was living with an ex-fiance, which worked out great because now I'm with my wife.
There you go.
I was living in over kind of like over by Portland, Providence, that area, and I was driving in, and it was really early in the morning because I was working day shift with Dave B.
Yeah.
And Willie was the sergeant.
Willie.
And I get pulled over because I'm going 70 to 55. I'm on 26.
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhere near Helvetia, I think. And it was you
I
guys.
remember, yeah.
it was you
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
And so I see it. I go, oh shit! I'm on my way to work.
Yeah.
Because I'm working 6 o'clock, and I know someone's coming up on the other side. And so I put my hands on the wheel because
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't want to freak
Oh, yeah.
anybody out. And so I go. Josh comes up and he looks at me. He goes, "This car. I can hear him say this car looks familiar." And he looks at me and goes, "Oh hey, what are you doing?" I go, "Not much, bro. I haven't seen you in a while." And he goes, Yeah. He goes, "You were going fast." I go, "Yeah, I know. I'm sorry." And I
Yeah.
thought, "Oh, I'm gonna get a ticket or something."
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't think that guy was gonna decide.
You
Sorry.
already said it one time.
Yeah. John.
John.
Yeah, was gonna write me. And he says, "No, don't worry about it." I don't know what he said to you in the car, but
Yeah.
he didn't write me, and
No.
I'm on my way. So of course, the first thing, because I didn't know you, and I wonder if he'll say anything. It's like I was like, I don't get fired.
Yeah.
So first thing I do is I see Sergeant Willie, and I go, "Hey, I got something I need to tell you." He goes, so I tell him. He goes, "Oh man." So he kind of laid it on thick,
Like
you
he
know.
used to.
Yeah, and he goes, "Oh, okay, well, we'll talk to your coach." And so then he sits me down in the sergeant office at West, and he goes, "Dave, Scott has something he needs to talk to you about." And I tell him, and they both just solemn look, like I'm like, oh.
And they were pretty tight back in the day.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, they were really, they would always go to
Yeah.
coffee,
Yeah.
and then the worst thing is when you haven't gone to a beef,
Yeah.
and Willie goes, "I'll go with you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Right, that's like the worst thing. The first
Oh, yeah.
beef you go to,
Yeah.
he goes, "I'll be your cover."
He was my coach for a bit. So.
yeah,
Hey, it was mine too. 5 weeks.
So, but anyway, so they're doing this. They were laying it on thick. And at the time, I didn't know because
Yeah.
I was like scared, a little bit. 'Cause I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna get written up. I'm gonna be sent home.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks at Dave. He goes, "You think you can handle this?" I go, "Yeah." So Willie leaves the room, and Dave goes, "Just don't do that again." And that was it.
That's it.
Well, so then you go through briefing, and so Sergeant Liz was a new sergeant at
Oh,
the
yeah,
time,
yeah.
brand new sergeant, and so they're reading the briefing book. So the funny part
Oh,
is,
that's right. We
they're-
used
so they're
to-
doing the whole thing, and they're talking about what comes across, and the neighbor complaints was
Yeah.
about speeding,
Yeah.
and they're saying, "Oh, people are going such and such a neighborhood," and Will looks at me, and goes, "Well, that's not very fast, is it, Recruit Michelson?" I went, "No, sir." And then he started laughing, and it was funny.
Recruit
that's
But it was
Michelson.
all because Dustin and this reserve pulled me over.
I
But,
remember that
um,
vividly.
So we're kind of getting close on the time. So kind of shifting gears a little bit, what would you say to somebody that's new or somebody that's getting close? What's your advice for someone going into law enforcement or getting close to retirement? To think about or do?
Going into law enforcement, a lot of people ask me, would I do it over again? Because of all the things that I went through. It's like when I was in forensics, there was 23 homicides and officer-involved shootings that I was a part of.
Right.
And you see a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it framed who I am for the rest of my career. And that was the middle, kind of the middle of my career. They say, because I hear about these things, would you do it again? I said, yeah, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I'd do things differently.
Good. Yeah.
I would do it in a heartbeat. It's, to me, they talk about serving your country. Every police officer is serving their country. Everybody refers, and I know you're ex-military. Law enforcement serves our country every day, and without them, we would lose so much in this country. And we need good people to do the job. We just need good people to do it right. I would tell people getting into it is that focus on family, focus on friendships, focus on taking care of yourself and being mentally healthy and physically healthy. Because those are two things that are hard to do as far as the last two, mental and physical health as a police officer, because you're go, go, go. You don't have time to deal with the emotional stress and everything. You go to a dead baby call, and then you're getting called after that to clear before you even write the report to go to a domestic that involves a severe abuse of a lady, all these different kinds of things that happen. You're jumping call to call to call, and you never get to deal with it. And then you're there late, your health goes down, all that kind of stuff. Work out mentally, physically, family and friends. Always do something outside of work that has nothing to do with law enforcement.
Don't hold it in. Find somebody to talk to about it.
Talk. Do not hold it in. It'll ruin you. It'll kill you. It'll ruin your career. People getting ready for the end of their career know that it's going to end. There's so many people that live with their head in the sand, not thinking that it's going to end. Plan for the end. Don't let the end plan you. And what I mean by don't let the end plan you is that you all of a sudden come up and everybody's like, it's time for you to go. And you're like, well, I don't think it is. No, it is. And it's either going to tell you in disciplinary, it's either going to tell you that like you're not doing your job right, or your wife's going to come to you and go, it's time for you to be done.
Yeah.
And so if you don't plan for your end, it's very hard to transition from police officer to civilian. Very hard if you don't plan for it. When someone else tells you, and ask anybody that's left because whatever reason, even if it's a retirement that all of a sudden just happens, you need to know what the next chapter is. I don't care if it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do the first month, but I'm going to do something, Right. I spent the first 6 weeks of my retirement going, I can't do this for the rest of my life. I can't just be retired. I have to do something. And, I retired at 50 years old. It's like, there's not a lot of people out there that you could hang out with. All your buddies are out chasing bad guys and being traumatized, and you're like, what do? You have nobody to call.
No shit, tell me.
Yeah.
You call me.
There you go. Yeah. Well, now my buddies are retiring.
Yeah. That's what we said.
But it was very hard because I started at 23, so I had to do 27 and a half years to retire. And so then I'm retiring at 50 because I promised myself when I got into the job I would never go longer than I need to be.
Right.
And I didn't leave because I necessarily wanted to stop being a cop. I wanted to stop the politics of being a cop. And it wasn't necessarily the outside politics. It was the internal politics. They were messing with my team, the mental health response team. They were trying to make changes that I told them it wouldn't work. And I'm like, Finally, I'm like, I have other things I can do with my life, and I don't need to be here. And I'm like, you know what? I said to myself, if I could do something in lacrosse, that's what I would do. If I could make money in lacrosse.
Are you still doing lacrosse? We didn't talk about what you're really doing right now.
Oh, yeah.
So when I retired, I was done for 6 weeks, and I saw this opening for the old store called Bigfoot. It was bought by Lacrosse Northwest. And so I played lacrosse, I coached lacrosse, and I started lacrosse when I was 47 years old, playing.
Right.
I started coaching before that and fell in love with the sport, one of the greatest sports known to man. And so a buddy of mine that was working for Lacrosse Northwest put out this media post, and I said, I sent him a message, are you guys hiring? And he's like, yeah, we bought Bigfoot. And I'm like, I sent him my resume, which is so fucking ridiculous. I'm a cop. Here you go.
That's all I did.
So they hired me because I'd been stringing lacrosse heads for years. I used to string his son's lacrosse heads, Tom's here, and so on and so forth. And so they hire me to run their training facility and store. And so I ended up becoming the manager there. Now, it wasn't a full-time job, but I was doing lacrosse, selling equipment, training, stringing heads, going to tournaments. I was living what I said was my dream. And at the time, I was still playing lacrosse, running a men's league, Then I started traveling and playing lacrosse in Hawaii in a tournament. I play every October. I play on an Australian team. There's I don't know how many teams go over there and play, but you can see the pros. It's just
that's really neat.
Love.
Yeah,
I mean,
cool.
lacrosse saved my life in law enforcement because I started at the end of my career playing, and it was my release. It was my way to go, and nobody
Plus,
knew.
Something you could morph into after you leave.
Yeah,
that's great.
And nobody knew I was a cop. Still to this day, I have guys that I play with. When they find out, they're like, "What?" Because that's all they know me as the lacrosse player. And so I've since left the training facility, and this was back last year. I worked for a school district nearby, and I do their campus safety. A lot of people, you're security. It's like, I'm not security. I work in the school. I make sure that kids aren't fighting. I make sure that the kids, I deal with the disciplinary issues. I deal with all kinds of stuff. And so I work as a coach. I coach girls volleyball, girls basketball, and boys basketball. Oh, cool. And so I'm on summer break right now. It's one of the funnest jobs I've ever had. Awesome. Now getting back into government work, there's still with the deal with the bullshit government stuff and everything like that. But I've been off work for summer break the last 2 months, and it's been amazing. This is the most time I've had off since my retirement because I was only off for 6 weeks after I retired. Oh. And so I'm currently still playing lacrosse, headed over to Hawaii in October to play with my Australian buddies. Cool. Where we're going to go hit people and have fun, But I've also gotten back into mountain biking. I was riding when I was younger. Still have my bikes from back in the day, and I've been riding mountain bikes with a couple buddies of mine. Well, a few buddies of mine that work in Portland police. And so I just got back from Whistler, riding the bike park up there. So headed this weekend to ride in Central Oregon. If I don't have a lacrosse stick in my hand, or riding my mountain bike, or working on my van because I built out a van to travel in and stuff like that, then I'm hanging out with family and playing with my little Boston Terrier. So
look at you.
Loving,
that's great.
There's life after law enforcement, which so many people don't realize because it consumes you. Mm-hmm. You guys are living examples of that. And it's
there is life after law enforcement.
We survived, it's like people
Cheers.
don't realize it. We're all survivors.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that I would not change. I wouldn't have my family. I wouldn't have my lacrosse. I wouldn't have my mountain biking. Yeah. I wouldn't have my friendships if it wasn't for law enforcement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I would too.
And the one thing I've always said is that we've talked about this. The law enforcement, for as good and bad as some of the things were in it, it provided for a nice retirement in some ways.
Yeah.
Financially.
We're going to some steel mill right now if I wasn't, probably, right?
And retiring at
or
a
jail.
young age.
I'd be in jail.
That's the thing is, like, I would have been down a completely different path. I would have been in jail if I hadn't done this. I remember.
My brother and I talked about this. If I grew up with my brother, we'd be in jail somewhere.
Yeah.
No, there was people when they found out what I did, they're like,
Yeah, nobody believes it.
You're like, there's no way. I heard rumor.
You're too young. You can't retire already.
It's one of those things that it's given me a lot, and I'm very happy. Wouldn't change.
Good.
But
that's good to hear. Because there's some people that say, I don't know if I would have done that again. Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do, not necessarily, some of it maybe with the job.
I'd do it again, but I wouldn't recommend doing it now.
Yeah, I suppose
that's the difference. I wouldn't recommend my kids do it.
Time, right?
Well, I left at the tail end of George Floyd and COVID.
Yeah,
it was like it was
time.
Hell.
Yeah, that was the worst.
I went into my retirement meeting to talk about retirement. And so as I'm walking in, I'm like, all right, let's sit down and talk to the lady. And she's like, so what are we going to talk about this meeting? And I sat there for a second. I want to retire tomorrow. And she's like, this isn't the meeting I was thinking we're having. And I go, you know what? Until I sat down, I didn't think so either.
Yeah.
And that's how it took place, And so it was, but when it was the perfect storm at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was, things were not well in law enforcement.
No.
I'm sure you guys may have dealt with family members and friends and so on and so forth that chose one side or the other of George Floyd's situation and police reform, and we all got labeled with the same thing.
Yeah.
And you look and go, man, I've worked with so many police officers that have never murdered somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I don't care, you know, and it's like, but you treat me like I am him,
Yeah.
you know, and you go, sorry, you know, don't label me. And I lost friends because of it. You know?
Yeah, it was a rough time. I think where we worked was a little less crazy than some places. It's still crazy. You still got people flipping you the bird every now and again. But, yeah, it was not a fun time.
No.
Because, you know, you had all that plus the COVID. And the pendulum started swinging back, I think, towards when we were leaving a little bit the other way, back towards favorable, I think. But,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything as far as doing the career. Would just change how I did some things in my career.
Yeah.
You know, because love you guys, loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
I don't have any negative, you know, when I look at my friends that I worked with, I don't have anything negative to think of. You know, I just wish more people would retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many people, you look at them and go, retire.
Why are you doing it?
Yeah. Why you stay so long?
Why are you going? Why?
Yeah.
Despite
It's
that
always
thing.
money. It's always money.
the
It's money, and I think a lot of it is their what do you call it?
Identity.
It's their identity. They don't have
Yeah.
anything else but that to be
Yeah.
a cop.
It's like our buddy that left here and went down to Hill
That's
County.
exactly what I'm thinking.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's his whole world.
Gosh, man, I drive, you know, I live down there, you know, I think I'm going to run across him one day and go, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
You know,
That
it's
blew
like,
me away when I heard that.
stop. Now, they make good money there.
Yeah.
And so I know
Probably a
it's,
little bit different climate for a while.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah.
That, I mean, his experience, knowledge, and everything like that they need it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
So any other? Sounds like you're just loving everything right now. And that's
Yeah.
awesome. What you're doing now. Any other piece of advice you can think of before we take off? Because what you gave was great. I mean, that's really on the nose.
My advice to people currently working the job, especially supervisors, is like I said in the beginning, and administrators, be someone to help someone's career. Don't be someone to hurt someone's career.
Yeah.
You will not get ahead in life by ruining someone else's career. There are people that should never be in law enforcement and should leave law enforcement, but it's not the job of administration to force that upon people. It
Right.
will come.
Yeah.
You know, like I was saying before we started this whole thing, is that people that screw up that don't deserve to be police officers will eventually leave. You don't need to lie as an administrator, lie as an investigator to force someone out.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
because that just makes you
They'll
bad.
come out on their own.
They'll come
They'll
out
wash out on their own.
You know, it's like
Agreed.
we need to, and we just don't need to eat our own. You know, we need to support each other. This is a hard profession to be in. We need to support each other. We need to encourage people to do other jobs. We need to encourage people, like I said, the
Yeah.
one person that wanted to be a firefighter.
Yeah.
You know what? I pulled him aside one day because everybody's, you know, he's going to take a day off, and like, hey, you taking a day off to go to fire training? And he didn't want to say anything. And I said, it's not a problem. Is that what you want? He's like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I said, you want to be a firefighter? Yep, I want to be a firefighter. I said, how can I help you do that? And he just like looked at me like I was like, what? I'm like, if you want to be a firefighter, that says nothing about me. I said, it says nothing about me. I'm like, what can we do? Let's find training for you here
Yeah.
that will help us and it'll help you.
Yeah.
And he was dumbfounded. I'm like, there's no reason we need to make this a bad thing. If you want to be a firefighter, it's like, that's your business, and let's make it happen. And don't think you have to hide and take days off to go do stuff. If it fits within ours, let's see if we can get you training that does both.
Yeah. It's a shame that other supervisors don't think like that, though.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Make the job
It's
a lot
hard.
easier for everybody.
they treat it like it's a job. When it should be a family.
Servant leadership, right?
Servant leadership. I got the
You're
photo.
welcome. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
the
one-
photo.
Yeah. That was hilarious. When I had my ankle surgery, another sergeant picked me up from my house and brought me into East, because normally I was working out of Bethany, that
Yeah.
close to my place, and brought me in with my little e-scooter, and
Yeah.
we did some interviews for FTO. I think
Uh-huh.
that day.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was fun. And he saw it. He goes, servant leadership.
Took a photo.
Yeah.
Made it a meme.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know we talked on some things that we don't always talk about here on our show, I should say. But PTSD is a very important thing, and and all of us have it in some form or another because of the repeated little traumas or big traumas that we get on a daily basis.
Yeah.
The military has it, we have it, firefighters get it. Please, if you guys feel like you need help, talk to somebody. Check out our friends over at Shielded Voices. Look at Blue Line Golf. Our friend Matt. Please, we've talked about him before. He's going to give me some more information so we can pass it along to you guys. And thank you, Dustin, for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Dustin. It's really good seeing you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good.
Missed you.
Missed you guys.
Missed you very much.
There's people.
Quit hiding.
I'm not hiding. I'm out in the open, man.
He is.
I'm
hiding.
not.
I see him on the FB. every
Anybody wants to reach out, I'm available. You
Yeah.
guys have been busy until now.
now. Yeah.
It's hard to connect with people who are still in law enforcement.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, because they're very busy with their schedules.
Well, and they
Well,
always
I'm
find
busy with Jim Tan Laundry.
they always find an excuse as to why they can't do something.
Yeah, you're right.
Tom is Jersey Shore.
Jim Tan Laundry, that's all I really do. And podcast.
Look at him.
There you go.
I wouldn't think anything less.
I'm going to Sturgis on Friday.
That's something. You always have to have something to look forward to.
Oh, yeah.
I watched a friend drink himself to death.
Ugh.
Yeah, I have to stop drinking.
Yeah.
I came to that realization. I drink way too much.
Well, when you have a lot of free time,
Yeah.
it's easy when you don't have to worry about tomorrow. It's real easy to do.
Yeah, I found that out.
Well, it's
I'm a
nice
mild alcoholic, is what my
Well, you
therapist
don't
just finally
have,
told me.
You don't have a schedule.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have a schedule. Tom
Yeah.
doesn't have a
I had to take
schedule
the
other than
test.
this,
I took a test, and she told me I'm mildly alcoholic. I'm a 20 out of 40.
I don't disagree that I drink a little too much.
It's social settings. Like I don't drink every day,
Yeah.
but when I drink it, I might drink 7 to 14,
Yeah, that could be
and then
problematic.
I might black out
You know who's drinking
in
right
between.
now? Gerba on his boat.
There you go.
Yeah, Gerba.
There you
He
go.
sent me. Hold on a second. Can we? Where's the camera at? I'm gonna show what Gerba sent me yesterday, real quick. Before we cash out, whatever you want to call it, before we end up,
coffee.
before we end, because I don't think it's true, Gerba, because I don't think you're on your boat, because you can't prove it to me. That's not your boat, Gerba, because I don't see you on it.
Oh boy,
Can you see that, Robbie?
Gerba is sending us photos of his time at Billy Chinook.
That's now. Are they?
Yeah, he has some friends that live over there.
Yeah, okay.
And he literally does go over there and stay there during his
Billy
vacation.
Chinook, or where's that?
And skis, wakeboards, I'm sure.
There's some
Oh,
girls
I'm
on
sure.
a boat, but it's not Gerba's boat, so I want Gerba to know that. Hashtag kill Gerba.
We just
Okay.
killed Gerba.
Well, where's the camera at?
Right here.
Uh-oh.
All right. So.
Oh, Jesus.
There's the young.
Can you see that?
Tom Brown.
Let's see that one.
That's the young with the cop haircut.
Oh. Is it coming through?
An iPhone?
Yeah.
You gonna Bluetooth this to me?
I'll do it.
I need to airdrop it.
I can airdrop it.
That's what I look like, a cop.
Oh my. Is that
Oh,
what he had, the bus
Jiminy
back?
Christmas.
My friend in Arizona has a picture of you and him riding a thing at the fair when you had the short hair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Johnny.
There's a lot of fair pictures of me.
Yeah.
Cancel. Oops, sorry.
We'll get it to you.
So
We'll get it
where's
down there.
your?
I
Is it Icura?
yeah.
There it goes.
Uh-oh. Now it's public information. All right. Well, hey, that concludes our episode. Tom, take us out.
Yeah, hey, thanks for tuning in to the Second Briefing podcast. Thanks for Dustin coming in and
Thank you.
dropping some wisdom on us.
Yeah.
You know, right, smash the like, follow us, do all that good stuff. Smash it. Smash
Smash Gerba.
it. Every Tuesday we come out with a new one. All right. We'll see you in 2 and 2. Peace.
Bye, everybody.